Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and to the second episode on this 911. And I'm not going to try and deceive you, I'm actually filming this intro after some of the footage you'll see in this episode. I'm a little bit rusty on instinctively knowing when I've got enough for an episode. When I was putting up episodes every day of the Mark II 16 valve Golf restorations, I just kind of knew when I had enough without really looking, whereas now I'm kind of obviously not knowing that and probably filming too much before putting up episodes. So yeah, let me show you where we are right now. So basically the nuts on the bottom, that's not actually going up any further on the thread, which is fine, because what we're trying to do is put the thread or the stud back up into the mount. But now the actual thread's turning in the mount, so like the mount's not staying still. There's a very small square bit at the top of that, which is presumably so you can hold on to it in case that happens, but it's not exactly very easy to get to or to get anything onto. So joy. I might actually need to wait until, or it might be easier to wait until I've got the new mounts and then just like take that one off and put the new ones on both sides, so that, you know, because it'll be all brand new, so I can just kind of easily set it at the height I want it. Other option just now would be doing what I was talking about doing before, which is dropping down a bit, sitting on axle stands and just raising the car up. So dropping the engine down by raising the car up. Joy, this is why I love doing bodywork. I'm gonna have to think about what I'm gonna do. So basically what I've decided to do is wait until I get the new mounts, because there's no point, it's not a cost-effective solution for the customer to spend ages trying to get them back in again when it's actually just going to need to come back out again, because I'm going to replace them. So I'll show you what I've done. So basically what I've done is I've dropped the car down to the lowest point that I can lock it, so it's not going anywhere, it's locked. The lift's locked, can't go anywhere without going up first. And then what I've done is I've supported the engine with not only the jack but also an axle stand as well. Should be fine anyway, because there's still 3 mounts holding it, but just so it's not sitting sagging and it's not unsecure. I mean, the bolt is still in there holding it in, but just so it's not just relying on that, just to be safe basically. I'm putting that in there. So yeah, safety first and all that. It's not my car, so I'm a bit more gung-ho with my cars, but yeah, just safety first, and also considering the time cost for the customer as well. So unfortunately it means it's tying up the ramp till it's done, but that's the disadvantage of only having one ramp. So so I'm going to tidy up and wait until I get the mounts. Then basically what I can do is I'll change that one first, because the bolt's pretty close to the end of it anyway. So sorry, the nut is pretty close to the end of it, so all I need to do is take the nut off, undo the top of it, and then I can put the new one in, tighten it up a bit, and then support the engine with the jack and get that one as well, get it sitting level, get it at 40mm drop, tighten it up, and then the engine's going to sit there quite happily at the 40mm drop, and then we can actually just not worry about that and actually get stuck into solving the issue that we're trying to resolve, which is obviously the fuel leak. So just the joys of working on old cars. It's funny when you watch YouTube videos and they've taken everything off first and then put it back on and then just show you how easy it is to take this off. But yeah, there's always stuck things, there's always things you can't get to, It's very rare that things come off easily on old cars. So, but there we go. We've made some more progress. I'd hoped to be further on with it today, but just being careful, being cautious, and just taking time. No point in rushing it. So, yeah, just get the bits that we need and then pick it up from there. Hi everyone, well, still working on this 911, and I'll let you see where we're at. So basically it doesn't look much different. We've got new engine mounts, and I actually emailed them just after I ordered it to see if they came with nuts, and asked if not to maybe include nuts, which was on the Thursday. Then I got busy with other things. Saw an email come back on Friday afternoon, which was a picture of bolts. So I then kind of chased them on Monday, managed to get nuts shipped on Monday, which meant that we're now into Wednesday. So this is a problem with one ramp, because we've got other cars I could be working on, but I don't have any room. So, but anyway, I've got the nuts there. They came. So basically what we can do now is stick these nuts onto the threads, change them out on the other side. Sorry about the background noise. Change them out on the other side, get the engine sitting at the 40mm drop, and then we can crack on with doing this. So there's obviously more that's going to need to come off, because we're doing the actual full fuel rail rather than just injectors. So it's going to take quite a while, but got a full shot at it today, no gig tonight, so hopefully can get at least a very big dent made in the job. If not, get it done. We'll see what happens. So we've got the injectors out, well, the fuel rail free on both sides, and all those plugs off, which was a pain. And now we've got this pipe that joins the rails together that goes around the back of the engine. So there's not a lot of room to work with here. That bracket that the pipe goes through, I think has a spinning bolt in it, so just try to figure out a way of getting that. Can't cut it because there's another pipe in there, so that's where we are right now. So the injectors are out. I'll show you the car in a second, but obviously they're very poor condition, corroded. You can see the plastics cracking. There's no way I'm putting them into a new fuel rail and then putting it back together after the ache it's been to get them out. So yeah, gonna need to wait on injectors coming. JB managed to get his hand in the back there. I couldn't even get my arm in there. So to get the nut undone, to get those pipes out, and then it wasn't too hard to get the actual rail out once that was undone. So here's the old rail here and the injectors. So there we go. Yeah, not a fun job, but has to be done. was a bit of time lapse there, and it was actually quite hard to kind of film what we were doing because there was two of us in the engine bay, and it's not a very big engine bay, as you can see. So just to kind of really update you on what you saw, and obviously it is a customer's car, so the priority is getting it all absolutely sweet and right first time and all those kind of things. So where we are is basically we've the fuel rails are in. Again, not pretty impossible to film unless you're doing it with the engine out, because it's hard enough to see them, let alone film them. So the new fuel rails are in, and we did run it yesterday and it started no problem, so that's always good. You can see the new engine mounts that we've put in as well. And basically the reason that it's not totally built back up yet is because of, I think the old one's over here, this little fellow here. So this basically is just a little plastic clip with what should be an inlet and an outlet, and that joins two coolant hoses together. But as you can see, being very old and being in an engine bay, it's become brittle and the actual plastic's broken off in the coolant pipe. So what we did yesterday, just because I was keen to get it running as quickly as possible, just in case we needed to get any other parts, was we just got this little piece to put in the middle, just a joining piece, 8mm joining piece, and Jubilee clips on either end, so we're able to get that locally, so that was handy. And then that's just cable tied around the bolt to make sure that it doesn't move, because obviously, as you can see, the location of that pipe is pretty close to the auxiliary belt, so there's a reason why it has a bracket that's bolted in there. So basically, I've ordered one. I did order one from a parts specialist, but and I actually ordered two. I ordered one from Porsche and one from the parts specialist, but the postage on the one from the parts specialist was going to be double what the actual part was, so I'll just leave that one sitting in my basket just now, and I'm going to pick one up from Porsche in the morning. And I also got the clips as well. So basically that's all that's holding us back from fully building this back up. And obviously we put lots of coolant in it before we ran it, but we will still need to take it outside and leave it running for 10 minutes and properly bleed the coolant to make sure there's plenty in there. So I don't think it'll take much more, to be perfectly honest, but we do need to let it run for 10 minutes or so with the cap off. And obviously what we want to do as well is continue to inspect it to make sure there aren't any fuel leaks, because it's the fuel system, it's a customer's car as well. I'm going to go and put lots of miles on it, give it a really good test run, back in, up on the ramps, check for leaks and so forth. So especially in cars like this where the fuel rails are sitting right above the exhaust manifolds, that's a pretty quick recipe for disasters. Most of the time you see supercars going on fire from the engine bay, that's what's happened, is that fuel has got into the hot exhaust manifolds, ignited, and that's obviously not good. So have to make sure 110% that it's been well tested with me driving it, so that if anyone's going to go on fire, it's me. So there we go. But joking aside, that's where we are, and we'll get that built back up on Friday. So let me just show you the bodywork again. When I was going around the car, I did say that I would really like the opportunity to improve the paintwork, and the customer's going to let me do that. I've given them a deal because the car's already in, although I should have done that quicker, because the car's been sitting around waiting for parts when I could have been polishing it, so that's my fault for not kind of bringing it up sooner. But yeah, this paintwork, the paintwork is good. It's a good car. It's been well looked after. It's not rusty, etc., etc. But in terms of the finish of it, definitely I could make that a lot better. So I'm really glad that I'm getting the opportunity to do that. Even look at that. Just look at that, how flat that is, for example. So this is going to look like night and day by the time we're finished with it. And the great thing is, the last 997 turbo I had was this exact colour, so I'm very used to polishing 996 and 997 turbos, and so obviously this is quite similar in terms of the body shell. So there we go. Yeah, so let's get cracking. I've had the battery on charge overnight as well. Obviously it was depleting very quickly once we started bleeding the fuel system just by activating the fuel pump. So there we go. I'll stop waffling and I'll get polishing and I'll let you see what's happening as we're going along. I'll show you any particular bits. There's a scratch there, for example. So this is a good opportunity to show you some paint correction, which is very different to just detailing or polishing. So what I call paint correction is when I'm having to get involved in sanding things. Basically, that's how I differentiate between paint correction and polishing. So obviously you are correcting problems in paintwork with polishing, but what I would call paint correction as opposed to detailing is when I'm really having to get into sanding things rather than just running over panels with a buff. So a lot of the stuff on this will just come off with the buff with the right kind of compound. Stuff like that, there's no way that's coming out properly without sanding and polishing it after it. So I'll let you see that. There's another one down there as well. So this is a good example for you of paint correction. So I'll let you see how that comes out.